Radical was something that originally started as like a really monumency styled or inspired riff, which is that intro riff. And so that I thought of that riff because I believe at that time was right when they were teasing at that time their new record. So like Leviathan came out, that kind of intro, and I was like, whoa, it's like super cool, it's really hype. And they do a lot of different tuning stuff. Like I think they do a lot of stuff in DadGad. But for us, we were like in a weird C tuning, which was my mistake. We should have just been in normal C. But yeah, so because of that, I was like, oh, well, a lot of those chords are going to be hard to find on this tuning. But I found one, which is like that higher riff. And so once I found that chord, then I basically just revolved all the other riffs and progressions like just off of that. So like the guitars in the background of the choir in Radical are like using that same chord shape, and then the intro is using that same chord shape. So like most of the song is doing that, other than maybe the outro breakdown and like the verse 1 breakdown. Other than that, like that chord shape is throughout the whole song. Other than that, the hardest part about that song was definitely that verse 1 breakdown. Not because it was difficult to track or write anything. I actually wrote that on the first draft of Radical, but it was hard for Will to understand when we first wrote it. It was hard for him to kind of like wrap his head around and know what to do vocally about it. So yeah, there was tons of drafts of that song, but not because it was difficult to track or difficult to write, just because it was hard for him to wrap his head around just that one part. So it went through multiple drafts. That all stayed pretty the same looking back, but at the time they were like really different, and it really made us question like, well, then if we're changing that, then should we change like this whole part later on, and stuff like that. So yeah, that was basically Radical.